But if you just look at the way children learn, you will notice very quickly that they like being together, that they like really getting stuck into things, sometimes really messy play, but they don't just sit. It's actually not part of their natural makeup for them to just sit. They are active. They are active learners. So how can we take these natural, God-given traits that our children have and use them to our best advantage as teachers to really get them hooked on learning? Hello and welcome to Blooming Curious, the podcast dedicated to reimagining early childhood education through the power of curiosity. We explore the strategies that inspire a lifelong love for learning in children. So if you're an educator or a curious parent looking for creative, meaningful ways to engage children and move beyond the talk and chalk traditional classroom approach, then this is the podcast for you. Do you like sitting and just listening to someone go on and on? I know I don't, because I get bored with that in the first 5 minutes, especially if it's something that you already know or you have no interest in. Well, guess what? Kids don't like sitting around listening to us go on and on either. They've got better things to do, like chat to their friends, socialize, play, run around. If you've ever taken time to just watch children, just observe, which should really be the thing that you're going to do as you go back to school for the first week at least, is to create activities where you can just observe children. Look at their strengths, look where they need help, social, emotional, if they've got issues making friends, communicating, whatever it might be. But if you just look at the way children learn, you will notice very quickly that they like being together, that they like really getting stuck into things, sometimes really messy play, but they don't just sit. It's actually not part of their natural makeup for them to just sit. They are active. They are active learners. So how can we take these natural, God-given traits that our children have and use them to our best advantage as teachers to really get them hooked on learning? Well, the one little experience that I found really, really helpful, especially as you're just going back to school now, is to connect everything that we're doing through stories. Because if you think about it, apart from socializing and playing with their friends and being outside and being active, kids love listening to stories. And so if you can take those three things, being active, being sociable, and listening to stories, and create learning experiences that integrate those three things, then you're on to a winning formula. Now, one of the things that I've done really successfully over the years is to take a little picture book called I Went Walking by Sue Williams. We read the story, and then we go walking and see what we can see. Now, you can take this activity and you can use a camera or an iPad to record what the children see. Or if the things are small enough, I mean, obviously, I see a tree, whatever, but if you see a red bucket or you see a blue shovel, you might want to pick those things up and bring them back to the classroom. Or perhaps it's a brown pine cone or a green leaf or a yellow twig, whatever it might be. So there's a combination of actually collecting these things and also just taking photographs, either with a camera or your iPad or your phone. Or you put kids in little groups and you give each group an iPad and they take turns taking photographs of the things they see. So then what do? When you get back to the classroom, there's a multitude of integrated activities you can do that help you meet actually cross-curricular learning outcomes. There's so many ways that you can use the objects that you see in a mathematical way. You can weigh them, you can measure them, group them according to characteristics. The list goes on and on. Now, if you've taken all these photographs, what you will then do is to very quickly then print them all off, and you've then got these objects and these photographs, and children then record their own little booklet. And I have made this little booklet for you in a fabulous little resource where I've given you the integrated lessons. ideas for maths, science, and English. And in this little booklet, children can then write and create their own little story of what they saw on their walk. And once you have all your pictures, you can then use hula hoops and you can categorize all your objects that were found on your walk, things that the children saw, into whatever the characteristics are. So it could be hard things, soft things, natural things, or living things, non-living things. So here you're integrating your science, you're integrating your math, because you are grouping according to certain characteristics. You can even use the pictures or objects to create patterns. So you've got your A, B, you've got ABC, ABC, so like stick, leaf, flower, whatever it might be. Loads of different ideas that you can do with something so simple as just taking the children outside, having a walk, see what they can see, coming back, using those objects, either in science, where you can look at living and non-living, and then go off and even do an inquiry project on what is living, what is non-living, what are the characteristics of living things, what do they need in order to live, and in non-living, or what makes them non-living, why are they non-living? And then, of course, in writing in English. So if children are still learning to write and they're not quite there yet, then they will just tell you. They will paint their picture or draw their picture, however you've decided, whether they're going to draw or paint, and they just then will tell you what that is, and you then just write it for them. If they get to the stage where they are now being able to write themselves, well, why not? Allow them to have a go. What sounds do you hear in leaf? Perhaps they know how to write an L, or perhaps they know an F, and they're just having a go. Remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. You want children to love learning. And so if you're going to straight away come down the wall, that's not really how you write leaf, you're automatically going to get them to shut down because they're going to be too afraid to make mistakes. The idea is to get children, to encourage them just to have a go and to enjoy the process. Remember, we're always talking about it's the process, not the end destination. It's not the product, the process that matters in these early years of learning. And so I've created this little e-guide for you, or this little booklet really, for I Went Walking. You can download it for free. I'll leave a link in the show notes. And this is a great little activity just to get you started as you go back to school, or even if you've already started and you're in the Northern Hemisphere. You guys are probably some places you've got snow, you've got all sorts of fabulous things because you've got cold weather. Why not take a camera, take an iPad or bucket or whatever, go and see what you can see, get kids to recreate the story for themselves, and then use those objects in multiple ways to tick off your outcomes in other areas. So I hope you have a lovely week. And I hope this has given you some kinds of inspiration into how you can use a simple picture book activity to spark curiosity and a love of learning in children. So I will leave a link in the show notes for you. Go there, download it, and enjoy. But here's a little top tip. Before you actually leave the classroom, you've got to make sure that you're organized. So you're going to tell the kids exactly what you expect, how they need to behave, how they need to use the iPads. You cannot just go out free for all because it's going to get chaotic. So you have to make sure that you are really explicit, that you model exactly what you expect in terms of their behavior, that you model exactly what you want them to do. And also be ready for when they get back so that you can download the images or have a space ready for them to put the objects that they have come back with, and make sure that your equipment, make sure that the little booklet is printed off and ready for all of them. Make sure that they've got all their equipment that you want to use to create their pictures, whether they be colored pencils, textures, paints, whatever you've decided. So organization is key. So make sure you do that before you go out. Next week, I have a really, really fabulous episode coming that is not to be missed. I have interviewed Tanya Gilchrist, and she is going to be talking all about inquiry and integrating inquiry into all your subject areas. So you don't want to miss that. So make sure that you follow or subscribe so that you get notified when that episode drops. I'll see you next week, and until then, stay blooming curious.